Good morning, everyone. Good morning, students, and good morning, teachers. Especially to Sir Marvy Jornales. Good morning, sir. Welcome to our discussion for today. My name is Karen Jean Lyon. Before we'll proceed to our discussion, let me introduce to you the reporters on this topic. First reporter is Karen Jean Lyon, followed by Gracie Buhisan and Raid Edison Tumala. So, in our first lesson in our subject, EDUC 102 Facilitating Learner-Centered Teaching, Chapter 1 is Learner-Centered Psychological Principles. And in Lesson 1 is all about learning principles associated to cognitive, metacognitive, motivational, and affective factors. And recent reporters had already discussed about the cognitive and metacognitive. So now, our discussion will be focusing on motivational and affective factors. So to begin, let us have these learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to first define the meaning of motivation, motivational factors, and affective factors of teaching and learning. Second, identify what are the factors that influence students' motivation in education. And third, value the importance of motivation in learning. So, this will be the content of our discussion. First, we will define motivation, motivational factors, and affective factors. Second, motivation affected by several factors. Third, importance of motivation. Fourth, emotional influences on learners. Fifth, motivational influences on learners. And sixth, two kinds of motivation, motivational and affective factors. Have you been one of those students who participates often in class? Did you enjoy learning and want to do well on tests? Or have you been a student who went to class because you had to? So, you did the bare minimum to get by. Chances are if you were the first student, you felt motivated. That motivation could have come from your own desires to achieve and or from the teacher's effort to make class interesting. On the other hand, if you identify more with the second scenario, chances are you felt, you guess it, unmotivated. And your lack of motivation probably made it harder for you to pay attention consistently, absorb the notes you took, and answer questions given by the teacher. Not surprisingly, when we are not feeling motivated in school, we get less out of it. That's why teachers and educators do a lot of talking about what techniques they can use to foster motivation in their students. Here's we're going to define what is motivation, motivational factors, and affective factors. So, what is motivation? Motivation is an inner drive that causes and energizes you to do something. It is the strength of the drive toward action. It refers to the initiation, direction, intensity, and persistence of behavior. For example, a student in PE class was unable to master jumping rope, but he chose to continue trying to jump rope during recess. This time, on task indicates a high level of motivation towards mastering the activity of jumping rope. Motivation. It is a process of arousing and sustaining interest in an activity in order to achieve a goal. It is also the creation of a desire on the part of the learner to perform an activity to satisfy a need. Pintich and Strunk 2002 as cited in Vega and Preto 2012. Motivation can strengthen learning and academic achievement in various ways for students. Students who are motivated are more likely to pay attention in the classroom, comprehend the subject content being introduced, and exhibit the capability to continue to achieve academic proficiency if their first attempts to do so fail. Motivation factors. Motivational factors is how the learners push themselves to learn and how they value learning are the concerns of the motivational factors. It is the basis of motivation of students that keep him or her trying to achieve a goal. It is the learner's focus of motivation, or the meaning or purpose of his or her motivation to achieve a certain goal. Meanwhile, the affective factors relate to the attitude, feelings, and emotions that learners put into the learning task. It is important to know that attitudes influence achievements. The reason is that attitude influences one's behaviors, inner mood, and therefore learning. So, both negative and positive the attitude, feelings, and emotions of the students in learning have a strong impact on the success of reaching a goal. Student motivation can be affected by several factors. These elements includes parent involvement, teacher enthusiasm, rewards, peers, the learner's environment, personal experiences, personal interest of the student, and self-esteem and self-image. Parent involvement is one of the most influential aspects of student motivation. The parents are the initial teachers of the child before the child goes to school and encounters education through a teacher. Involvement fosters academic achievement. Countless studies have found that kids perform better in school when their parents are involved with their schoolwork. Compared to students whose parents are uninvolved, kids with involved parents get better grades and are thought more highly of by teachers. These effects remain in the future, even if parents become less involved as the child ages. Parent involvement in school-based activities seems to have the greatest effect on kids' grades. Next is teacher enthusiasm. Teacher enthusiasm has traditionally been defined as a lively and motivating teaching style that includes a range of behaviors, such as varied gestures, body movements, facial expressions and voice intonations, and the frequent use of humor that reflects a strong interest in the subject. An enthusiastic teacher often spices the class with excitement, enjoyment, and anticipation, engages students to participate, and stimulates them to explore. Rewards. Students who are motivated by extrinsic factors complete activities in order to receive an external reward. As a result, they do not work out events on their own, but work only to receive a reward. External motivators are things given to the students by others like grades, candy, free time, and other things. Intrinsically motivated students experience school success because they display behaviors such as choosing challenging activities and spending more time on tasks. The use of rewards undermines intrinsic motivation and results in the slower acquisition of skills and more errors in the learning process. Rewards, then, should be replaced with teaching that is focused on the intrinsic motivation of the student. A common goal should be to have the student's interest be at the center of their learning, not a reward. Students who are taught to perceive themselves as causal agents in the classroom engage in more risk-taking behavior, and increase their achievement. Also, students who perceive themselves as more in control of learning have better self-esteem. Peers. How does peer influence affect students' motivation? Social interactions are thought to guide a student's feelings about competence, relatedness, and autonomy, and impact a student's adjustment in the school setting. Peers could indirectly affect academic motivation, therefore by affecting how students feel about their self-system processes. The learner's environment. Learning environment affects students. Research has shown that an engaged learning environment increases students' attention and focus, promotes meaningful learning experiences, encourages higher levels of student performance, and motivates students to practice higher level critical thinking skills. Personal experiences. Really experience affects motivation. The study has implications for the practical educational field as well as for general health promotion and well-being in paying attention to the emotional experience as it demonstrates that positive emotions improve intrinsic motivation. Personal interest of the student. The factor of interest is very closely related in nature to that of symbolic drive and reward. A favorable mental attitude facilitates the topic. Personal interests are relatively permanent preferences of the student and are usually expressed in a variety of situations. In the classroom, a student may or may not have a personal interest in particular topics, activities, or subject matter. Outside class, though, he or she usually has additional personal interest in particular non-academic activities, example sports or music, or even a particular people, a celebrity, a friend who lives nearby. The non-academic personal interest may sometimes conflict with academic interest. It may be more interesting to go to the shopping mall with a friend than to study even your most favorite subjects. Self-esteem and self-image. Self-esteem refers to a person's beliefs about their own worth and value. Self-esteem serves as motivational function by making it more or less likely that people will take care of themselves and explore their full potential. People with high self-esteem are also people who are motivated to take care of themselves and to persistently strive towards the fulfillment of personal goals and aspirations. People with lower self-esteem don't tend to regard themselves as worthy of happy outcomes or capable of achieving them and so tend to let important things slide and to be less persistent and resilient in terms of overcoming adversity. And also, motivation improve your self-image. Self-motivation is the positive drive you need to set and complete goals. Positive self-motivation helps you begin new projects and face challenges in life confidently. Without personal motivation, you may procrastinate or worse, give up on what you need to do. Importance of motivation in learning. Motivation is not only important in its own right, it is also an important predictor of learning and achievement. Students who are more motivated to learn persist longer, produce higher quality effort, learn more deeply, and perform better in classes and on standardized tests. Motivation also can strengthen learning and academic achievement in various ways for students. Students who are motivated are more likely to pay attention in the classroom, comprehend the subject content being introduced, and exhibit the capability to continue to achieve academic proficiency if their first attempts to do so fail. This mindset is utilized to enhance their skills and capabilities in order to meet future challenges without reservations. A student's approach to future tests will be determined by the manner in which a student is affected by current tests and their outcome. From Omrad 2014.